that can frame things and help you to think about things in a structure. And I love Costa's book as well, but it does lack a certain amount of structure about how to really boil things down in some ways. And I see benefit in both approaches. This space is so new and so poorly understood that any thinking that tries to abstract it and tries to try to work out what it is that we're doing and how we're doing it, I think is valuable. Whether they actually hit the mark or not, it's still useful.
Well, I'm going to disappoint a lot of people, so there's one more question. So, did you have a question down the front? Yes.
Okay, basically, just two points. Firstly, on the points on the games and literature game, what I suspect is that actually people has not really fully developed the whole point of games and literature. As you mentioned, most of the games is opposing force, which is the game, and opponent force, which is the story. Both of these factors do not necessarily need to be true. Games do not necessarily need to oppose. Story does not necessarily need to go straight forward. So in this case, actually, the main reason why games seem to fail as a medium for storytelling is that it's because it's not really properly developed. It's not supposed to go in the way which most people has thought games should tell story. But back to my question is really on points of 2D versus 3D. Do you think that the 2D game innovation has reached anywhere near its point of being fully realized, or are we really pushing too much towards 3D and missing out on a lot of the 2D innovation that has yet to be obtained?
It's all about expressiveness. It's all about choosing the right tool to kind of make the game that you want. It's obvious. I think I read an article where you were talking about Braid being in 3D and saying that it would be a completely different game and a completely different experience. Yeah. So, I mean, 2D is clearly the appropriate space for that. Pac-Man in 3D would suck because you wouldn't have the same kind of spatial awareness. You know, it's about knowing the strengths of 2D versus the strengths of 3D. And I think there's still... I mean, again, we're only 25 years in. We're still at the kind of the start. And just you're starting to see more 2D games coming along. So people are realising that it is about expressiveness. It's about what cool things can we do in 2D that we just couldn't do in 3D. I don't want to use the word cool, I shouldn't say that. What interesting things can we do in 2D that we couldn't do in 3D? What are the benefits of 2D over 3D? And then convincing other people to give them the money to make those games, or just making the games themselves. So I think it's become a choice rather than a fashion now, which kind of comes back to the whole innovation as fashion kind of idea.
I think some of the best 2D shooter games have come out in the last 2 or 3 years from the Doshin movement in Japan, where a couple of kids have sat together and they've made a game so impenetrably hard that only 12 people in the world can ever finish it. But the experience of firing it up is exciting and lasting 13, 14 seconds. We just go, this is a niche market, and I'm a niche person. And that is but that's good, that's innovation for like an extremely small market, but it's interesting, and that's an innovation in a different way. You have to have played 10 years of shooters to be that good.
We're still coming up with new ways of running trains towards the camera. I mean, I think there's so much in 2D games, in 3D games, never mind games without the graphics, which is it's still possible, but it's just with tone and with audio. There's an infinite wealth of innovation out there still.
Well, with that, please thank all our guests again.
We're going to take a break from this cinema for 1 hour, and at 3 o'clock